He had a swastika tattooed big and bold on his chest. He even had a Confederate flag on his shoulder blade. And you might be thinking, so what? Why should I care? It was prison after all, since this is a prison channel. And you'd be right. But there was something different about this particular guy. He was different than the rest of the inmates who had swastikas and Confederate flags tattooed on their bodies. He was actually black. That's right, he was black, and they called him Uncle Tom. This is the story. I was in a little satellite camp on my second prison sentence, and they had all kind of, crazy people that was inside the jail, some of which I've already told you stories about. Shaka Zulu, Bo Luke, and Two Shank Shorty. But I haven't told you about Uncle Tom. That's right. Today, you're going to hear about Uncle Tom, the only black guy I ever met with a swastika tattooed on him. He was inside a prison. All he did was hung out with white dudes. At first, I thought he was a booty bandit because some booty bandits will go through any lengths to get that booty. So I just thought, hey, Uncle Tom, he's just a booty bandit with a swastika. You know what I mean? Because he's trying to seem relatable to all the other whites. But then my theory didn't make any sense. Because any white person or most white people in prison who got swastikas tattooed on them are either stupid or they're about their business. Because if you can have a swastika in a prison, you need to be able to fight and represent what you got tattooed on you. You know what I mean? So I started asking some of my people, man, what's up with Uncle Tom? Why he got that swastika tattooed on him? And is he a booty bandit? And some of my rounds at this time were older cats from back around my neighborhood that grew up with my father. And they said, nah, little son, let me tell you something, man. That dude, Uncle Tom, he ain't no booty bandit. He just a stupid Uncle Tom. I said, really, Uncle Tom? They said, yeah, he's really an Uncle Tom. And at this time, I didn't even know nothing about Uncle Toms. I was still, barely in my 20s. It wasn't later in life that I found out Uncle Toms, even though we use it as a derogatory term, it's actually not a derogatory term because the term itself is an endearing term. It was a person who helped other people of color escape their plantations and masters. So they reversed what Uncle Tom really meant. So I wonder if we even know that. Anyway, back to Uncle Tom. So I'm asking my rounds, like I said, who are dudes who grew up with my dad. Well, how come this dude, gets to hang out with the whites and the blacks ain't mad at him? They said, man, Uncle Tom done had his ass whooped so many times, bro. Because I'm just getting to this little camp. They said, man, dude beat Uncle Tom ass at least once a month. I said, for real? He said, yeah, them black dudes beat Uncle Tom's ass. He always getting in a fight. They said, he ain't scary. He just like them little weak white boys he hangs out with. Come to find out, Uncle Tom, even though he wasn't a booty bandit, he still hung around with what you might call weaker white inmates. That's right. He wasn't hanging out with the solid dudes. And some of the white dudes in prison, you know what I mean? In Southern prison, especially in Louisiana prisons, get a rap that they're trying to be black. You know what I mean? A lot of them got gold teeth. It ain't uncommon to see white people in Louisiana with gold teeth. So they'll have gold teeth. They'll sound like they black, but some of them might try, and a small amount of them might actually want to be black. But most of them, the environment they grew up in, they ain't trying to be nothing. They'll still represent for the white people, but they grew up in black neighborhoods, predominantly blacks. There might have been 3 or 4 white families in the whole street, and they were one of them. So all their friends, that's the way they grew up with. And I ain't talking about uppity-do neighborhoods. I'm talking about neighborhoods that are rough and rugged. Anyway, so some whites grow up like that. Well, Uncle Tom didn't hang out with those type of whites. He hung out with the weaker whites. We used to call them like witches and warlocks and stuff like that, because they'll be on the yard sitting Indian style, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And that ain't something you do in prison. That's a sign of weakness. Anyway, back to Uncle Tom. So I was there after a few weeks. I was on the yard. Uncle Tom was sitting in the Wiccan circle, reading the literature with the rest of the little white dudes he hung out with. And all of a sudden, man, this black dude just walked right over to him and just boom, 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 knocked Uncle Tom unconscious. One hitter quitter. Uncle Tom was sitting there kicking in convulsion with a Dungeons and Dragons book draped upon his chest. I'm like, dang, they got Uncle Tom. Man, this was some crazy stuff. I know prison is crazy. Anyway, the little dudes in the circle, they looking, and the dude who punched him said, I remember when he punched Uncle Tom, this is sitting in the yard, because I was on the weight pile, and they kind of, they're about 15, 20 feet from the weight pile, but you can still see and hear everything that's on the prison yard. And he said, would y'all want some of this? Huh, you little weak white mother effers, y'all want some of this? And the little white dudes all had their head down. They were just looking at the ground. I'm like, man, them dudes are cowards. You know what I mean? Dude walked by, he spit right on top of Uncle Tom. That was the first time I seen Uncle Tom get his ass whooped. I kind of felt bad for Uncle Tom because he was a nice dude. You know what I mean? He just felt like he wanted to fit in. And I don't know when Uncle Tom got the swastika tattooed on him. I'm assuming he got that on the street, not in prison. Because nobody who goes to prison is black and they right mind would do that. So I kind of felt bad for Uncle Tom. But Uncle Tom, another fight I saw Uncle Tom get into, a dude hit him and he wasn't strong like this other dude. Dude hit him and they just got him. Uncle Tom tried to fight back. And dude still whooped him and said, Uncle Tom, don't fight back, you old bitch ass N-word. You know what I mean? Don't fight back, N-word. You know what I mean? Uncle Tom was like, you know what I mean? And look, I seen white dudes who could use the N-word in prison. I seen this with my own eyes. I ain't never seen a black dude who couldn't. Uncle Tom was the only black dude. When he used the N-word, the other black dudes would whoop his ass. He had a complete moratorium on the N-word. Uncle Tom could not use the N-word or them dudes would whoop Uncle Tom's ass. That's right. So Uncle Tom could not play around with using the N-word. He didn't dare. They ain't count Uncle Tom's family used to visit him. That's right. He had a sister, you know what I mean, an aunt and all that. They visit him. They still loved Uncle Tom. But he just made a bad decision, man. Look, you could be friends with white people. You ain't got to get no swastika tattooed on your chest. Man, this stuff is crazy. I know, but it's prison. And you ain't hearing this type of story on no other prison channel. Only right here on the best prison channel there is, right? Hey, I got to toot my own horn. You watching The Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison experience on YouTube. And we trying to send this thing to the moon, right? So like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified every time I drop a video. And I'm covering topics that ain't nobody else covering. Go watch my videos. And like I said, give me a like and subscribe. And you know what? Don't be like Uncle Tom. Don't be stupid. Don't go to prison and get yourself a stupid nickname. If you're going to go to prison, you got to handle your business. You can't get whooped because you got stupid tattoos. And that's going to be another video we cover real soon. Stupid tattoos that you should not get. Like a black person with a swastika. Man, that's like a white dude. You know what I mean? With a Malcolm X tattoo. Or Nation of Islam tattooed on him. They don't like white people. Why would you get that tattooed? That's equally as dumb. But we're going to have a whole video about stupid tattoos. Man, let's get it.